Hey everybody, 100 Eyes here. I was going to make another video about No Rest for the Wicked, talking about the class system. If you don't know by now, they're going to be introducing a class system to No Rest for the Wicked. Um, Basically, every single weapon will have its own class system, and you will level up the weapons individually. And from what I've heard, you'll have 6 traits that you get to choose from, and you can mix and match from different classes that you've been leveling up. I mean that could be subject to change. I don't really know. And I think the stats will stay the same because like here in his post on the forums, like it says like strength or like the different things. So I hope they still keep the stats in. I kind of like that. And I like the fact too that they're adding this in a lot. Why they're adding this in, I think there was lots of complaints in the forums by myself too. I felt like having no classes or just like the free will to just do whatever kind of made it feel like by giving that it felt like there was less options. It's as weird as it sounds, but with what they're adding here, I think it will fix a lot of things. And before too, it felt like weird, like strength and faith kind of felt like they were left behind because things like Dex had like the bow for like ranged attacks, and then also Int had like the staffs and the wands, where like strength only had like the swords and whatnot. But like it was weird because you could find like random weapons, like you could find a two-handed sword that was just pure Int. It's like, how does that make sense? So like you could just go Int and you could have a two-handed sword, you could have a staff, you could have a wand. But if you're strength, you're kind of like you only get the melee weapons and stuff. I don't know, it felt bad for strength and faith. Like there were things that you were missing from it. But anyways, I'm just gonna go over some of these class breakdowns here that Thomas posted on the forums. So first one for a single attribute class for strength, it would be a brute. Savage fighter swinging single-handed axes with brute force. Weapon, one-handed axe, armor type plate. That's another thing too, like armor before didn't have like a good identity. It just seemed like you always wanted to have the heavy armor. Now at least they have facets, which is kind of cool. So like the cloth armor and stuff will like be better with faith or focus, I mean. And they did do a little bit of changes, but I think they're gonna add even more. So like if you're using plate armor, I wonder how it'll work if you're using axes and you get like different buffs or plate or something. I don't know, maybe might be cool. I'd like to try and speculate too here what kind of talents. I have no idea what they're gonna put for talents for like something like this, and it'll be really interesting to see what they come up with because I don't even know a brute. What kind of talents could he have? More damage. Maybe they'll add in rage into the game. There's so many options. Great access too. It could be something like rage. Battlefield champion wielding colossal great axes to dominate foes. Uses plate armor too. Barbarian. See, a raging berserker smashing enemies with massive two-handed clubs. Rage. It says right there. Maybe that could be a talent for some of these classes. I wonder, like, maybe talents. Yeah, maybe you could get talents for like more, like armor. I don't even know. It'll be really interesting to see. He has said one of the talents for an assassin class is like when you lurk in the shadows, like the actual in-game shadows, you'll like disappear. I think that's so cool, and you can like come out and sneak attack. I was watching another video and people were speculating that like the assassin class could maybe backstab bosses because you can't backstab bosses right now. But like maybe if you put a bunch of work with like daggers or something, you could get the ability to backstab bosses. Sentinel using a two-handed great spear. Disciplined spear guardian controlling mid-range with great spears. Uses plate armor also. Dexterity swashbuckler, flamboyant duelist flourishing one-handed curved swords. One-handed curved swords, armor, leather. Sounds cool. Fencer, use the rapiers. Precise rapier, master specialist, and pinpoint thrusts. Archer, obviously using the great bow. They changed bow now, it's two-handed. Bow is way better now that it's two-handed. That's one of the things that I thought too should have been two-handed from the get-go. Because one-handed it was kind of weird. Just like, yeah, balance it with like stam. Like make bows cost a lot of stamina when you pull back the string, you know. So like you have to choose whether you're shooting them or you're dodging, you know. Be interesting to see some of the traits that come with all of these. That's the if you want to speculate what kind of traits, leave comments of what you think some of these might be your favorite, and some of the traits that you might think will come with them. Rogue, like this is the one that they were talking about. Maybe you could hide in the shadows. Cunning sneak who dual wields daggers, striking unseen. There you go, unseen. Double daggers, two-handed dual wield, uses cloth. Cleric for faith. Supportive devotee, healing allies and striking with thrusty mace. That'd be so cool, and they add in healing classes into this game. Monk, unarmed aesthetic, delivering two-handed gauntlet combos. So this will be using gauntlet. Gauntlet's pretty fun in the game. I made it a hardcore guy. I just died at level 18, so I'm crying. Flagellant, I don't even know what that is. I probably pronounced that wrong. Scourge, one-handed weapon called a scourge. What? Interesting. I know that they have, like Thomas said that he's already running a version of the game that's like pretty close to 1.0, so I'm actually really curious to what some of these are, because I have no idea what the hell a scourge would be. Exorcist using a censer. Holy Banisher swinging a censer to repel evil spirits. Not sure what a censer is. Maybe let's look some of these up. Oh, it's like a spear gun? Is that what a scourge is? Interesting. Corrosive projectiles. Okay, that's really interesting. So this one, well, you'd have like a spear that shoots projectiles. That's really interesting. I love it when there's new weapon types like that added into games. Let's look up what a censer is. Oh my god. Fat fingering. Did I spell it right? Oh, it's like a flail that you use like incense and shit with. That's kind of what I thought it was. When you hit with this weapon, it deals radiant damage. I don't know what that's from. That's pretty cool. Intelligence, a sorcerer, one-handed wands. Everybody's seen that in the game. Mage with staves, two-handed. Priest with tomes. Interesting. Maybe like a one-handed tome. Invoke holy or arcane powers. Oh man, it'd be so good to see some of the new spells and stuff they add in. I think some of the spells right now that they have are kind of meh. So it's just like a circle all the time that appears under the guy's feet or like around you, like a little nova. They could have way more cool spells in this game, I think. I hope they do rework some of the wands and some of their spells to make them cooler than just like a little circle that appears under the guy like really fast. Like have a cool attack, make him like do some spell and like shoot something, or you know, drop something from the sky, or like have like a wave go across the ground, you know, like instead of just a circle, it just appears underneath their feet. Pugilist using one-handed clubs. So now we're at strength dex. Quick brawler smashing foes with single-handed clubs. Okay. I don't even know what talents they would have. It'd be so interesting to see some of these talents. There's so many different attributes and classes and combinations, and I wonder if like a lot of them will have similar talents, or if they're all gonna have their own talents, because that's a lot of work and that seems crazy. Squire using one-handed straight sword. Okay, that's alright. Lancer, two-handed halberds. Halbert's pretty good in this game, but I think there's only like one or two of them, maybe three. Crossbow. Crossbow would be so sick. A marksman. Strength dex. Lethal ranged attacks. I really hope that they make it so like it takes like a long time to load, but it just does like a really strong attack. Using mesh armor. Crossbow could be sick. I'm really interested to see how they add it into this game. Dex plus faith. Aesthetic. Spiritual martial artist. Dual wielding nunchucks with fervent skill. So you're gonna have two nunchucks as a dual wield. Very interesting. One of your talents, you turn into a turtle with a half shell. Pilgrim, wanderer of faith, employing a two-handed bow staff for fluid combos. So they're gonna add in bow staff. They don't have that in the game yet. Vanquisher with whips. Holy exorcist, controlling mid-range with single-handed whip. That could be cool. Whip could be cool in this game. Blade Master. Curved Greatsword. The Curved Greatsword is actually good. I made a guy level 30 with Curved Greatsword. Really fucking good. Strength plus Faith, a Knight. These are... oh, I love these classes. Two-handed Greatsword. Stalwart Champion, swinging massive two-handed greatswords in the holy cause. Using plate armor. Pally. Can make a hammered in this game. Righteous Guardian, crushing foes with a single-handed hammer. He's using plate armor also. Crusader. A divine warrior wielding great hammers to smite evil with an unwavering zeal. Two-handed great hammer. That'd be cool. Dragoon. A little spearman. Harnessing faith-based leaps and precise or pierced defenses. Oh, to pierce. Oh my god, I can't read. To pierce defenses. So leaps. One-handed spears. They're gonna add more leaps in. There, I guess I already do have a couple leaps. Interesting though. Strength. You got the Templar. Battle Mage. That's really cool. Some of my favorite classes in like Diablo 2 and like PoE are like a strength int hybrid where you like you can heal or you can do cool things and spells and also be like super tanky. Mystic Sword. So that'll be a new thing they add in. Runic Swordfighter, enchanting a single-handed Mystic Blade. So maybe you'll be able to enchant your weapons and stuff with talents. Spell Warden, a sturdy caster, brandishing huge great staffs for arcane shockwaves. So they're gonna have great staffs. So they already have two-handed staffs. And then they're gonna have great staffs. That's interesting. Contortionist, flexible martial artist, bridging raw brawn and physics power, dual wielding extended armbands. Interesting, so maybe similar to the gauntlets, I don't know what some of the talents would be. Flexible. Psychic power. Cool, maybe you'll be able to like hit him with some shockwaves or something, or telekinesis attacks. Dex plus int, the assassin. So this is the one I've already speculated quite a bit on. Hiding in shadows, cool like backstab things, interesting talents like that. Ninja. Wakasashi, one-handed sword. I really want to know some of these talents. I can't wait for this class system to come out. Like, what will you be able to do? Like, will it be runes? Will you be able to get runes from your talents? That'd be cool. Imagine you get a rune where you can like throw throwing stars if you're like a ninja. Do some cool like dashes or something. Maybe like do the little Naruto like cloning yourself. Samurai, honorable warrior handling two-handed katanas with disciplined technique. Sick. Sick. Trickster, crafty bomb maker hurling illusions and specialized projectiles from trick bag. See, I always thought this was gonna be like an offhand before, but maybe they'll add it in. I wonder, yeah, if you're gonna have like infinite bombs, or if you're still gonna have to like make your own bombs, and then like you'll have like a limit. Hurling illusions. That sounds kind of cool. Faith plus int. Reaper, Dark Harbinger, Scythe Wielder, merging neurotic spells and unholy fever. Two-handed scythes. That sounds cool, man. Faith int sounds cool. Bone staff. Grave Conjurer summons undead. Yep. Necro class. I'm gonna throw on a video after I go over all these, and it's frostylaroo and Aaron from actionrpg talking to Thomas, and they talk to him a little bit about the necromancer class and some of the other things. So we'll talk more about that, and I have some ideas because I listened to theirs, and I think No Rest for the Wicked for a necromancer class, I think it's got to be a little bit, it's got to be different. It can't be like Diablo 2 or PoE where you have like a constant like army of persistent minions. That's a little bit too much, I think, for this game. I think it could work. I think you could make a necromancer class in this game, but I think it could be a little bit different. Witch using a hex rod, hexcaster using a single-handed rod to lay curses and illusions. So that's cool. They're gonna add curses into the game. Hex rod doesn't exist. And Plague Doctor. Mask Alchemist spraying toxins and cures at mid-range with two-handed bellows. Okay, let's look up what a fucking bellow is. It's like a bow gun, maybe? There's a bellow in Monster Hunter 4. Oh, maybe like this. What the hell? For like blowing a fire, except you use it for like throwing cures or poisons on your teammate, maybe? Interesting. So yeah, there'll be 21-handed, 22-handed classes. That's absolutely insane. It's wild. I'm very excited for this update. Now we'll go to this.
All right. Now, obviously, the first part of this podcast, I've been a little quieter. Now we're going to switch gears and talk about the necromancer, which means I'm literally never going to shut up. So I'm just going to have this kind of muted but playing on the screen. This is an 8-minute video that Thomas has already released.
I think this
and
video
on
fucks up.
this, where now it's not playing because I got to reopen it, he has shared the actual necromancer class. I would love to hear a little bit about your design philosophy around it.
Well, it's not necessarily the class that's yet, but I just started prototyping around because Necro, out of all the classes, obviously that's always the one where there's a lot of like, hey, can we play like Druid was a lot now because of the Path of Exile thing now, right? That tons of people asked for, hey, can we get a Druid class in, right? And Necro, same thing, right? Like people want summon classes and so on, right? And so again, this happened over Christmas, right? And every now and then I just jump into the Discord and just throw people something, right? Where I'm like, hey, I worked on something crazy. Do you guys want to see it, right? And so this was one of those things where it's just, I wanted to see what would that actually feel like, right? Because Necro has obviously been a thing for some time in ARPGs, right? But it's never really been applied to a Souls-like, as far as I know, right? So I wanted to see what could that actually feel like, right? And I did a very early, like extremely early first test of like, hey, here's use summoning things, right? And what could we do with that, and so on. And so what I ended up with was basically a couple of actions, a couple of runes, where one of them you just summon like some characters that spawn with you. Or the other one was really interesting, where you just do, it's basically like revive in Diablo 2, right? Where if you kill an enemy, you revive exactly that enemy, right? So you could,
I think that could be really good. That could be cool. Like I think they'll go on and talk about persistent minions, but I think revive in this game would be good. And he just follows you around until he dies or something, or maybe has like a time limit or something. But yeah, maybe just follows you around until he dies, or he gets lost on terrain.
like kill a crazy Nif Leviathan or something, right? And then just summon that for you, right? And the fun thing is, it even worked on bosses, right? So I killed Warwick and then revived Warwick, and then Warwick was following me.
Does he follow you forever? Are they permanent until they die?
Yes, until they die or until you kill it, right? Yeah. And if they can't follow, right? Like if they can't climb a ladder or something, what I did for now is just that at some point they teleport, right? Like if they just and then come back into your screen. But that is really fucking fun, right? Like, and obviously I scaled the characters a bit more to your character, right? So that it's not too crazy, right? But obviously these are prototypes. There's one more thing that I didn't share in this video, which was Possess. And Possess is really cool, right? Because that is something that I haven't really seen, which is just there's the Soul Train ability where if you kill an enemy with that ability, you're actually
I think Possess could be good,
over,
but
right? Meaning now you play that boss.
I feel like
you play that enemy and run around the world.
It wouldn't really be good
on,
for bosses.
Just smashing things with all those actions and so on.
And your character like jumps into their body and it doesn't just stay where it used to be.
Your character remains where they are, right? But it's like in this.
Could they be attacked while they're just standing there?
Yes. So you have to be careful of that, right? But then it follows the enemy character, right? And you run around with that enemy. I've never really seen that being done, especially not in a Souls-like thing and so on, right?
It would kind of be so cheesy. You could just like possess an enemy, make them jump off a cliff,
right? Where it was really cool to take over a lake, right? And then
I like this game being hard. Like I don't want you to be able to cheese everything.
Right? It's just fun to kind of like see what would it feel like to play this fucking creature, right? And then you just
maybe if they're like under 20% health.
Anybody doesn't understand what Thomas
then you can possess them.
He said they are prototyping. When you kill an enemy, you could bring it back basically as a revive or specter. On top of that, you can possess an enemy and become that enemy. So not it's fighting for you. You are that enemy running around and attacking people with the enemy's abilities. Is that correct?
Yes. with the actions that they have. Yes. Yeah.
I doubt that's gonna make it in. Seems
And
way
that
too
is,
unbalanced.
right? Like,
I know you're
this is still-
prototyping, but that is
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
as
Look
much
how
as
red-
things-
look how
red
as
his face
things
is.
change into the future.
I don't think it's
you
coming
feel
in.
pretty confident that that summoning archetype will come to the game officially in the future in some manner.
At some point, yes. I'm not guaranteeing it for 1.0, right? Because
I think Thomas
our
always
tech
says
folks
shit
will
and then
have
goes
something
back
to
to work
say
and everyone's
about
like,
that,
why the
right,
hell
and so
did
on.
you say
But
that?
sure, at some point we will bring that in, right? I'm already prototyping it now. I wanna I'm going through all the classes right now, right, making sure that they have really unique, fun ways to play. For example, with the assassin, what I just did is because we have this really interesting lighting system and light probe system, right? I just did a fun thing where we can actually fairly accurately detect if you're in light or in shadow, right? And then with the assassin, that is really cool because now you can actually like play in a way where it's almost like Metal Gear, right? Where I'm like, hey, I have to hide in the shadows and then the enemies don't see me. And then as they pass me from their patrolling paths or something, now I'm jumping at them with like a backstab or something, right?
That's cool.
So I'm just looking at how can I make all the classes
I like
feel
that
really
one.
unique, and obviously the necro, like because there's a hit list of things that people always bring up, right? It used to be just when is co-op coming, right? Then when can I finally play on my PS5? And pretty high on that list was always, hey, are you guys gonna do a necromancer at some point, right? So and I just want to see, like, hey, let's make sure we actually work on those things that people constantly ask for.
Where would we have to get from a game sales perspective to get Necromancer in for 1.0?
I don't know. This is more of a tech thing, right? Because I was prototyping. Let's see how our tech folks actually react to this, and so on. We'll have to see.
I'm already theory crafting the necromancer build. Like, I'm gonna build a cleric, get its AoE healing spell, go necromancer, and just keep all my minions alive the entire time.
Yes, there's also a heal ability that I implemented for them, right? So that you actually can keep your army alive.
See, I think they've
and so
made a
on.
lot more shit than
Frosty, it's driving me crazy. The video for Necromancer
wanna see
won't play. I was watching
Thomas's
Oh,
version of the
no.
game that he's
Now
playing
it's
right now.
broken. I don't know.
Do you have the raw file, or do you
Yes.
See, there we go. There's
Well, it's
him
playing
summoning
now.
it.
Let's see.
want? Okay, just don't
No.
touch anything. Stop.
Yeah, it kicks off. I don't know.
Weird.
That's
Damn it.
it's okay. It's all right.
And keep in mind, this is still kind of like, this was still kind of prototypey, right? So it didn't have all the effects and all of this craziness that we usually bring in, but it was pretty fun. It actually worked a lot better than I thought it would. So we'll have to see.
Frosty, there was this picture.
But let me actually ask you guys, because
Yeah.
that's also what I asked on the Discord, right? What would be your perfect necromancer experience? What are the things that you want to see in that class?
That's an Aaron question for sure.
Well, yeah. So there's normally like a couple archetypes. One of them is like you have a permanent minion army where it's basically a walking simulator for the most part, and you're just buffing your minions. The other way is you have temporary minions where you summon them, they last a few seconds or go and explode or something like that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, I'd much rather have the permanent minions. And more importantly, normally Necromancer players like lots of minions. So if it's
Yes.
See, I know they both say no temporary minions, but I just don't know about permanent minions for this game. Like, you're just gonna walk around with like an army in this game. There's not even armies that fight you. You know, there's like maybe like max like 4 or 5 guys, and you're gonna roll in there with an army. I don't know. Maybe like 1 or 2 persistent skeletons would be sick, or like a golem, persistent golem. And then like everyone else is just like a revive, or like, in my opinion, the best thing to do would be focus. Just like not have it deal with corpses. I know, like, whatever, but like you gain focus. You summon a skeleton with 100 focus. So like, say if you have 300 focus, you just keep summoning skeletons, and then that way you can end up with like a army, and they don't have to be strong, but like, fuck, that'd be so strong in this game already. Get an army, like, just spam them with like ranged wand attacks and then summon up all your fucking skeletons. That'd be so cool in this game. I think that's what they should do. They should just have it use focus. Focus sums up a minion, and then if the enemy kills them, they're dead. If they don't, they just walk with you to the next group. And then they just last until they die, and have them like be kind of balanced. Don't have them be like so insane. They could just be like little brain dead like meat shields that like do a tiny bit of damage. Because anything else, I think, would be way too OP for this game. And this game is supposed to be challenging. This game is supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be a cakewalk. So I think that's how they should do it.
If it's we have one big minion that follows us around, or an army of minions, we like an army of minions. So an army of permanent minions that, and as a true necromancer, normally your minions
maybe permanent if they don't die. Maybe
you could
like Frosty said, you could heal them,
sacrifice them, stuff like that, and then you obviously just resummon them. So and you have to be able to control them. So like go left, fight right, attack the archer in the back. Don't stop focusing on the tank in the front. You gotta be able to control them as well. But
the commands, yeah,
exactly. But
I already kind of did that because the way I implemented it was that it just they attack the thing that you're targeting, right? So if you target an enemy, that's what they will target as well, right? Like that's what they will, start to smash.
So based upon what I saw in the video, like my initial concern, and like I'm excited, but like, ooh, how would this actually work out? Is that if you're resummoning enemies that you defeated, what happens in a boss fight when all your minions are dead? Or how do you start your
That's what
minion?
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like in a boss fight, there'll be no corpses. So like, how would you make your minions? That's why it should just be focus. And number two, if it's persistent minions, then you have to figure out like, well, when they die, like how do they come back? Do they just like respawn like in PoE 2? It's kind of especially in this game. I think they should just use focus. Focus gives you a minion.
For me, if you need a corpse to actually bring them up, so you'd have to have
yeah, it's the old Diablo 2
you gotta
issue,
have a
right?
way
What was
you
the
gotta have
boss
a way
called
to
in the
start the
second?
army.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Duriel.
Yeah, I have to think about it. For now, it was based on the corpse thing, right? But obviously, like you could easily solve that by just adding more actions into it, right? Or other traits and so on that allow you to just spawn,
or for example, like once you capture a corpse, that corpse you can now almost bring back out to to make the minion or something.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that if.
I think that could work a little bit. Like the more enemies you kill, like for example, you collect souls, and then from the souls of those enemies you killed, you can use it to summon up your minions. But then even then, it wouldn't really work that good for boss fights. I think focus is the way.
If your corpse dies, that's it, right? And it could also be, well,
the corpse would be good anyways with revive. You could have like your skeleton army, and then you could have like revive too. So like if you see a corpse, you can revive that enemy, and then all your other minions just come from focus.
Why not just revive that corpse again?
Yeah, exactly. But I like that you said you like permanent minions. Most people like permanent over temporary, and
Thomas is getting a buff right now.
Is very interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because imagine the idea that you possess an enemy and now your character becomes the minion. So now your character is automated attacking like a minion, but now you're the enemy. That is a fantastic idea. That is a fantastic idea.
Two things. One, Aaron, I sent you a link. Maybe that'll work for the video. And if not, my second thing is there's at least 2 areas in No Rest of the Wicked right now that has a double boss fight. So if you kill like one of them, you can then control the other boss to fight the other boss. Is that something potentially that
That's
could
the
happen?
dream that I always want. I remember distinctly, right, when Diablo 2 came out, right, and the Necro was launched, right. I was like, that would be so cool, right? Please God, make it work on bosses as well, right? And didn't work, right? So let's see if we can make it work. In many ways, a lot of times what we're doing at Moon, right, is we're looking at that, right, at like what hasn't been done before, right, and how can we advance the genre forward, right, by doing crazy things that wouldn't even be tried in other companies, right? And so that to me is very interesting.
Yeah, I think your guys' ideas, I mean, those are everything you said has been fantastic around the necromancer class. I think it's going to be figuring out how to solve single target. Like you're in a boss fight. Like how does that
Focus.
necromancer work? Or the
It's just gotta
necromancer is
work off
really just
focus,
like
man.
secondary damage. You have a couple minions, but you still do 90% of the damage. Or is it literally you're just facilitating your army?
Focus
How do you
to
maintain
summon
your army?
skeletons,
Just like,
and
yeah,
then you heal them
those
to
questions.
keep them alive
Yeah,
in
I want
boss
that
fights.
Diablo 2 experience just better, right? But I haven't played Last Epoch or
It's a good
was there like what
gain your focus from hitting them with your basic attacks, or like you're shooting them with your wand or something. Summon up your minions, try to heal them, hit him more, summon more minions, heal them, and then you have an army of minions fighting a boss. I think that's the best way.
is like
Last
'cause some
Epoch
people
mentioned,
told
sorry.
me and so some people told me that Path of Exile and Last Epoch did some cool stuff about the Necromancer, but I'm not completely up to date on that. I have those design notes written down, but yeah, did they do anything really interesting with the Necro class?
I'm thinking you said interesting. I mean, I would say they are standard necromancers. Path of Exile 2 did something pretty cool where practically every minion in the game, hundreds of them, can come back to fight as your army, and each one has its own individual tooltip. So it basically unlocks 200 different, I'm just throwing a number. I don't know if it's 200, but hundreds of different variations of armies you could do, which a lot of people
I think PoE 2 has the best necro kind of concept in any game I've ever seen. You can do so many different things with minions in that game. It's insane. You could have like 100 different minion builds. So good.
like. That's their Raise Spectre skill. As far as Last Epoch, what Last Epoch does is it's got tons of different minions, and each minion has its own skill tree. So,
Never tried
you've
Last
got
Epoch.
summon skeletons, but some skeletons can turn into 4 different ways and has 10 different combinations. So it's just different. It's different takes on it.
It's
And both-
variations of that, but is there anything really new or interesting? Anything where it's like, okay, this changes the way I play the class? Like something like Possess, for example, right? Where I think it's really interesting to give it that angle where you actually play the enemy, right? And I'm wondering, is there more stuff that we could do? Because that's always the thing that I want to dive into, because that's the things that players get excited for, right? If you give them this thing that already existed, then
I just don't
it's
think
one thing, but
Possess
if you
Lich
give
wouldn't
them
be
something that's like, this is
Necromancer.
fucking crazy.
But transforming your character itself, like almost like werewolf, but like lich form, is kind of cool.
Somebody in chat said Abomination in Last Epoch.
What's the
Maybe
D2
in the Abomination in Last Epoch, it absorbs all your minions, and based upon the minions it absorbs, it changes how it physically looks and it attacks. So what it absorbs turns in to multiple different types of a minion. I kind of, they have aggressive and defensive modes, so you could set your minions to stay close to you or go out. Those are both Last Epoch. But like groundbreaking, you know what? I can't believe I'm about to say this. What game has a Possess in it? It's actually, I think it's called actually Possess. Is Wolcen Lords of Mayhem had a Possess in it where you could actually possess every single enemy in the game, including bosses. So you could actually
Oh, that's cool.
possess them.
I
in
don't think
Wolcen.
that would work. And
I knew he was going to
no
say that.
rest.
Yes.
I really
So,
don't.
Well, for me,
might
the
be.
World of Warcraft priest had
I'm
possess.
just thinking about hardcore.
And used to possess in
I
PvP
don't
people
know.
and then have them jump off cliffs.
But none of them were possessed as in you possess them and now you control them. It's you possess them and now they become one of your minions. Not you are the possessed.
The WoW one, you control them.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. They have both now. They have like dominate mind, which they're your minion, and then like possess, which is you can throw them off
I
cliffs.
think it works in WoW, but nothing else.
Frosty,
Oh,
do you see what's
yeah.
on screen right now? I don't know if I know you wanted me to show this. I know we talked
Yeah,
about it.
well, he was talking about before the different Ember options. I'm not sure if all those made it through. I sent you the YouTube link.
Yes.
I think that's all they're talking about for necromancers and classes. I think it's interesting. Like I said, I don't think persistent minions, stuff like that, is really gonna work for no rest. I think like how I suggested, just have minions summon from focus. Whatever, like it doesn't need to be like every other ARPG where you have to have a corpse to summon a minion. You could have a corpse to summon to revive, but you could just like use focus to summon like a skeleton warrior. You could use it. Maybe have different runes, like one that summons a skeleton archer, one that summons a skeleton mage, and then as you gain focus from your attacks, you can just like summon up minions and then use heals on them to try and keep them alive. I think that's the best way. Maybe 1 or 2 persistent minions, but not. I bet you the way I'm suggesting it, you would be able to have a massive army of minions with the Necromancer class in this game. And just have them, you'd have to balance. I think balancing them, you'd just have to make them like kind of weak, but like, fuck, whatever. Like, distracting an enemy in this game and having like a minion do like a couple damage here and there, I think that would be still very OP, even if their minions are weak. I don't know. What do you think? What are you guys excited about for the class system? I'm going to go back and look at all these. So many classes, 40 of them. And you can mix and match them. You can level up different weapons. Say if you're using an axe and you want to use something else and get talents from that. You can mix and match. You can be a sentinel using a great spear. Then where's another one? And on your offhand, you could put on like, I don't know. Offhand, you could put on a great staff. Mix and match the talents between them. I think it's going to be so good once they finally come out with this. I can't wait. This is one of the big things that I've been looking for. Tell me what you think. What classes are you excited for? What talents do you think would go on some of these? Yeah, leave a comment and subscribe and whatnot. Okay, bye.